think you're playing football? Do you think you're playing football? Do you think you're playing football? You are showing me nothing.
Fires, Mike Sims Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught.
Denver, unbelievable.
And welcome to the fourth down fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football. I am your host, the face of the show, Jordan Pryor, and with me are the rising stars of the podcast industry, the brains behind the operations. I almost called you Danny Vinsky. I am so sorry. Well, see, I said that you were the brains of the operation and not me. But yes, Danny Weber, the brains of the operation, and the beef, period. Tanner Vinsky, say hello to the people, y'all.
Hey.
Hello.
Man, we have an exciting show for y'all today. Going to be talking about ELF Week 2 in our first segment. And then second segment, we're going to project what Week 3 has in store for us, as well as some league-wide news. So, diving in, Danny, would you like to take us through the scores? Oh, before we start, sorry. Please rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That does help us grow the show. Man, I was so excited to talk about it, I almost skipped over it. But yes, please rate us 5 stars. Give us a review. Let us know where you are reviewing us from, if it's outside of the United States. But yes, with that, let's dive into Week 2 for the ELF. Danny, would you like to take us through the scores real quick?
Yep, I'll do a quick rundown. The Surge back against the Panthers, ended up winning 44-34. The El Clasico round 1 was destroyed by the Bravos. Tanner, good job. 42-12. Vikings win the Battle of Austria, 27-6. Ravens over the Seamen. Seamen still garbage, 47-7 Ravens. Berlin Thunder get on the right track over Prague, 48-17. The Musketeers, with their first game of the year, absolutely blowing out the Hamburg Sea Devils, 41-14. The Cologne Centurions get in the win column against the Fehérvár Enthroners, 35-10. And the Rhein Fire continue their championship run over Frankfurt Galaxy, 31-20.
Yeah. Rivalry week was there wasn't a ton of close games, you know, not any really well contested games here. So
it was a good sandwich though. Like game 1 and game 8.
Yeah, first and last games were pretty solid. But yeah, I guess what was y'all's top game from this weekend?
I feel like it had to be the Surge Panthers game. It started amazing. Panthers went up 14-0 quick. Then the Surge just came battling back in the second half in the blink of an eye. I did not expect that.
No, and I mean, it was one of those games where when you looked at it from Wrocław, I mean, they probably should have won the game. It felt like they mostly lost because they were shooting themselves in the foot. There was a couple of costly interceptions. That fumble in the fourth quarter was brutal for them. I mean, they were down 38-35. They had the ball with, I think it was like less than 4 minutes on the clock. They were in control. They could have taken it overtime, could have ran it down, and just fumbled the game away. And that's why it looks not as close as it was at 44-33. But
no, and it's hard to compete when the Surge quarterback throws for 473 yards and 3 touchdowns while also rushing for 1. Like when you give up almost 500 yards of just passing offense, good luck.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big difference in the game, honestly, was the quarterback play. I mean, to your point, over 500 total yards for Ryan Hennessy. That is wild.
He's got the name buff.
He also completed less passes than Duncan, by the way. He only completed 23 passes.
And had over 200 yards more.
Yes. But one thing that confused me, the Panthers had a very big run-heavy offense week 1, at least in my opinion, and they
just abandoned it.
Didn't do that last week.
Yeah.
Well, they went down in the second, right? or was it the third?
No,
They
it was the
started
third.
going-
The third.
Yeah, it
They
was the
did.
third.
Yeah. It was 2014 at halftime. Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah, the attack felt a little bit more balanced from Vroslav in the first half, but yeah, as soon as they went down, they kind of abandoned it. And I'm going to try and pronounce his name again. Please forgive me. Brzezowski wasn't quite as efficient as he was last week. I mean, he was on a tear last week, and just wasn't able to break really anything big off over the course of the game. So I think that's kind of what held them back in the rushing game was just not being able to break off anything big. You know, there were some decent, a lot of like 3-4 yard gains here and there, but again, if you aren't able to get past that 5 yard threshold consecutively on a drive, it's just so hard to be able to score, especially in key situations, because at the end of the day, if you get a penalty here or you incomplete pass there, then your drive's dead. So
yeah. But I'm still going to say this league is a very pass-heavy league. I don't know how the running
that's
backs
just
are.
football nowadays.
Yeah, but like I feel like I guess there's more games in the NFL that you get 100-yard rusher more often throughout the week. But I think we had one this week, and Glenn Tunga popped off. We'll talk about that later. But can we take a look at the Surge receiving core real quick? If you guys have the stats pulled up.
Gosh, yeah,
I did. Yeah, Meyer. I mean, watching the game, Mayer, however you say it, went
all
insane.
of them. Yeah. Meyer 8 for 200 in a touchdown. Geyer 7 121 in a touchdown. Pietsch, Pietsch. Sorry, all Europeans.
Yeah.
2 for 96. And then even Steigerwald went 4 for 42.
Yeah, so basically you have two 100-yard receivers and a 200-yard receiver, basically.
Yeah.
If we're gonna, give them the benefit of the doubt and round up like 2.
He got 100 yards on 2 catches.
Crazy.
But even on the Rosloth side, Botella Moreno 4 for 102. Banat 5 for 86 and 2 touchdowns. Mazan 7 for 62. Like those are good stat lines. They just
it was an electric game, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Here, Jordan, look at the Panthers defense. Who had the most tackles? How do you pronounce that name?
Jablonski.
All right,
probably like Jablonski or something like that.
Or Jablonski.
Yeah.
Has to be. I was going to shout out, now here I am going to butcher probably my third name for the show already. Novakovic. Yeah, Novakovic. Yeah. That sounds right. That looks right. 4 tackles for loss. He was really he was the leading guy on Vroslav's defense that was just, especially early on, whenever the game was closer, was just really sticking it to them. Kind of a one-man wrecking crew. I will say, looking at Stuttgart's defensive stats, they really spread the love around tackles-wise. I mean, I'm very impressed. A lot of guys had at least 1 tackle for loss, multiple tackles. Got a lot of guys with 5, 4.
They were all over the place.
They were all over the place, and they were hitting.
They were brutal.
Yeah, I love that about this league. Is there's definitely been some hits that I've seen where I'm like, the NFL would flag that.
Oh, I saw a highlight reel today of just hits through the first 2 weeks, and it was like 45 seconds long, and I was like, this is great. This is like early 2000s NFL.
And the one thing that I will say is a lot of these guys who are getting these big hits, they're not dirty hits. I mean, there might be a slight launch, but they're not leading with the crown of their head. Like it is all shoulder pad.
Yeah.
So
because they're taught to hit properly. At a young age.
They probably got a decent amount of rugby players on that team that are used to playing with no pads and like, leading with the head's not smart. You are correct.
Yeah.
But no, fantastic game. This one and the Frankfurt Galaxy Rheinfire game were both spectacular games.
Yeah.
If we want to talk about them as well, real quick.
One last thing. There were over 140 total plays in this game. Surge had 77 and the Panthers had 73.
That is fast.
That doesn't seem right. It says total yards 637 to 292.
No,
Maybe
that sounds about
that
right.
might be right. Yeah.
No, I think that's right.
No, yeah.
You consider how much Hennessy had through the air.
Hennessy. Oh my goodness. He needs a Hennessy sponsorship.
He sure does. I mean, that man was out there looking like a superhero. He sure does. Nah, I do feel for Vroslav though in this one though, because it looked like, especially after that first half, that they had it. It was you know, just keep your foot on the gas. But yeah, the not penalties, the turnovers, you can't have those against a team as good as Stuttgart.
No, but they're going to be battle tested at the end of the year because they're week 1 through 3 are
they will make some playoff noise and they will do some damage for sure
if they can make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, they're kind of in a tough division. But
how many teams are in the playoffs again?
6.
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be kind of tough for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
2
brutal.
per conference.
1 per conference, and then 3 remaining best teams.
Okay.
So,
which is how it should be.
Yeah, if you win your conference, you get in, and then if you're the best of the rest, you get in.
Fair enough.
Which 6 out of 7, like I feel like that has to be one of the lowest percentages of like teams to make a playoff in any professional sport.
Yeah, 6 out of 17.
That's brutal because Tyrol had almost like a 700 win percentage last year and missed it.
I'm going to see what that percentage is real quick.
While Jordan looks that up, let's hop over to Madrid and Barcelona. Jordan will end with the Rhine Fire because that was the other best game, so might as
Fair
well
enough.
Start and end with the best.
It's 35%, by the way.
That's
yeah.
I think NFL is
exactly half, right?
Is it now?
No, it's 14 for 32.
Yeah, 14-32.
So
in
it's
the
close
NBA,
to
it's technically more than half if you include the play-in.
Yep.
Yeah, like the MLB is a lot, soccer's a lot. Yeah, it's. But Tanner, you want to start us off with the Bravos?
Yeah, I mean, no, they looked great. I was kind of surprised because we were talking about it going into last week, like there was nothing to expect really. And so yeah, I wasn't really sure what we were gonna get, but Helbig looked amazing, 343 and 4. They actually had a pretty decent running game, at least with Molina.
Molina was torching us.
Yeah, 9 for 65, had a good average there. Obi did not have a good average, 14 for 42, but he got away with a touchdown.
He's
their
supposed
Patterson
to be really good. Obi's supposed to be really good.
Yeah. No, he definitely had a couple of runs that where it looked like he could definitely break tackles and get something going. But I think their O-line's kind of a little rough in Madrid because if you see a lot of the touchdowns they had, especially Helbig passing, he was scrambling a lot. Like he was not able to stay behind a clean pocket the entire game.
Yeah.
And again, that's just what you're going to get with the league. You're not going to have homegrown offensive line talent. You're not going to use one of your transfer portal. Sorry, I forget the term. You're not going to use. Yeah, you're not going to use one of your imports to bring a guy in.
You could use an import, get him from like Germany or something.
Yeah, hopefully you get something better. Yeah, but you're just not going to have a lot of good O-line talent. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. But it's good. Scramble, and I think that's going to be a huge thing for them because it allows them to, he's able to kind of get around the pocket, find the open receiver, and that's going to be a huge advantage for them. But yeah, no, they just beat the doors off of Barcelona. There's really not much else you can say.
Oh yeah. I will say even with Helbig having to scramble, it didn't ever feel like he was running for his life though. It felt more of like a, hey, yeah, pocket's collapsing. I'm going to take 2 steps out, to the flat and then deliver a strike. It never really felt like a, oh shit, the entire play has broken down and I'm scrambling trying to get away from 4 guys.
No, it wasn't like any of like the prime Russell Wilson, like Seattle scrambling.
Yeah.
Where, he's running from one side to
minutes.
the other side. Kind of what like Kyler Murray has to do nowadays.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, pocket collapse, play still developing, so he's just buying himself some more time.
But it's good that he's not a statue because there's a lot of quarterbacks, especially in this league. If you were to throw them in that situation, they're getting sacked 5-6 times because they're not trying to create a play with their legs at all.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all beat us in all three phases, honestly. I mean, special teams, offense, and defense. I talked about it on my little Barcelona Bad Boys pod.
Shout
And
out.
I stole Danny's joke and said that we're no longer the Barcelona Bad Boys, we're just the Barcelona Bad. Like, that was a piss poor performance. Really the only like saving grace that I can think of. Don Adele had a pretty solid game. He's our best weapon. Didn't hate Levi Lewis's game because he was running for his life.
Yeah.
Like he was having to do Russell Wilson stuff out there to get the ball out, and was getting hit by 4 guys as soon as he was releasing the ball. We got torched on special teams. Kicker still can't make anything. We gave up that huge I think it was a punt return.
The fumbled punt return.
Yeah, to Patterson.
Crazy. Yeah.
That was disgusting.
I think in the NFL that gets called back because technically he fumbled it forward. You can't.
Did he?
Yeah.
I
could be
I mean,
wrong,
I know that
but
that's
you
a
can't
penalty in
advance
rugby,
a
but I
forward
don't.
fumble.
I think you can still fumble forward. I've seen it happen.
There's weird rules in the NFL with fumbling forward, and like sometimes it can be allowed, sometimes it can't.
Yeah.
I think typically it can't because there was a play that I think the Raiders had. I think it was like 70s or 80s. I forget when the Raiders were really good. It's been a long time. But when the Raiders were like a dynasty, kind of, they had one play where one of their guys fumbled it forward, and then I think another guy just straight punted it 20 yards down the field, and that was to another guy, and they brought it in for a touchdown. And I think that's when they made the rule after that playoffs that like, hey, you can't do that anymore.
Because
you can't intentionally do it.
Because we had Burrow was scrambling last year, and he got hit and fumbled it straight to our center, which was like 4 yards upfield, and he just picked it up, and took off to the end zone. And he actually got in the end zone, but they blew it dead at like the 10 where he picked it up.
See, I've only seen it where you fumble forward, but then it goes out of bounds, and so then they just say, spot it where the ball was.
No, yeah.
That's happened to Dak like twice because he likes to fumble the ball a little bit.
That's true. Either way, that punt return was sick.
Oh yeah, no, we couldn't stop Patterson to save our life. Like, don't get me wrong, Chris Hellbig had a great game and everything. But Patterson is the person that I have nightmares about.
10 for 176.
Yeah, and not to mention 47-yard return. And then I believe he also had 2 for 18 rushing as well. Like, I mean, just the stuff that nightmares are made of, bro.
The crazy thing is, like, that's such a great stat line, but that's not even close to like the best stat line for wide receivers this week.
No,
I mean, look at Meyer.
Well, the Paris guy.
The Paris dude was insane. Yeah,
we'll get on that. But hey, Barcelona had more plays. They ran 74 plays to 67.
Yeah, they were 74 flat as hell plays that didn't have any pre-snap motion, didn't have any play action. Like, my God, can I get a little play action just once? Just Levi Lewis has decent speed. Please, for the love of God, use some play action. Have him roll out to the side.
You ran 74 plays in 25 minutes. You guys lost the time of possession.
I am amazed that Madrid does have the more talented team than Barcelona, because Madrid's an expansion team, and you would think since they both have to share from the same pool of Spanish players that you would get a lot of the good Spanish players would already be playing for Barcelona.
Danny was telling me,
being an insider myself, I heard from other insiders.
You were a self-proclaimed insider now. Tell us, insider Danny Weber, why is that? Why do they have a better talent pool?
A lot of the good Barcelona players left for Madrid last year.
So
that's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Maybe some ownership, but people were saying a lot of the good Barcelona players left to play for Madrid. Probably because they have better backing. I mean, their workout facility in Madrid, like they opened it this year or something like that, or redid it, and it looks sick. You got Villanueva in there. Like, people want to play for teams that actually care. Hence, look at the Seaman.
I never set my eyes on Seaman ever.
Every week.
Should we kick it to the Battle of Austria so we can give you your flowers, Danny?
Yes. Hey, at least 2 of the 3 of us won this week.
Congratulations, y'all. I'm so happy for both of you.
Good job, Tanner. That's why we're wearing the gray polos.
Honestly, oh my God. I will say I am so glad, though, to have switched over to Barcelona because I would much rather lose to Tanner than lose to you. So I dodged a bullet with the Tyrol thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even text you.
Yeah.
I didn't rub it in at all or anything.
And nobody has mentioned all the shit talking I had from last week. So yeah, Dannye would have definitely brought up receipts. So
I'm waiting for the Celtics to beat the Mavs, then I'll take them out.
You're funny. Yeah, brother, you're funny. Mavs in 5. Anyways.
Before we start with the Battle of Austria, can we pour one out for Fulford real quick? I don't think he deserved it. They didn't give him a chance.
No.
The Raiders did this last year, apparently 2 after 8 games. But only 2 games, with one being 32-0. Poor guy.
Yeah, like you whooped someone's ass last week, and I mean, yeah, you lose pretty bad this week, but I mean, no interceptions on his end. I don't think he fumbled either,
He just didn't play well.
Yeah, he just didn't play well, but the way I see it is like there are at least things you can take away from this game where you're like, at least he took care of the ball. Like I can work with that as a coach. Is if you can take care of the ball, I can find other ways to win eventually at some point.
They had 1 fumble, and that was the American import from Bowling Green, Ohio.
Yo, shout out.
Lions.
Shout out Bowling Green. Shout out Maction, baby.
Hey, don't call me in Ohio ever again.
I was talking about Dannye. No.
Oh, okay.
No, brother, I know where you're from.
However, the Vikings defense looked absolutely insane. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but
oh no, y'all were hitting too.
We were. They could not do anything. Our offense was struggling a little bit, but we still put up 27 points with a struggling offense. But our defense 100% kept us in that game, especially in the first quarter. And they had a huge 4th and 2 stop in the fourth quarter. Oh,
Swanshar was on it too, man.
Swancar. Oh yeah.
Is it Swankar or Swanshar?
It'd be Svans with it because the W would be a V.
Svanskar.
I don't know. Still, he was all over the field. So was Bombeck, the right edge that had that beautifully timed play that could go back and forth if he was offsides or not. It doesn't matter. And then the Stanford guy, Schaffer. Those 3 on the front line, brutal.
Yeah, Bombeck, even though he only had 1 recorded tackle for the game, it was a tackle for loss, but also he just was constantly in the backfield.
He was in their face.
Yeah, constantly just causing pressure. Yeah. It sucks that we can't get, pressures per game or anything like that with some of these stats.
At some point, we probably will.
Yeah, of course. As the ELF continues to expand, we become team owners,
Oh, yeah, Tanner, we're buying a team if we get a sponsorship deal.
We better.
Yeah, we already decided.
We were going to throw it in Croatia.
Oh, we said Venice.
Yeah.
Venice we're just going to take over to Italy.
Anywhere on the Mediterranean.
Sick.
I won't be picky.
Alex, Matt, anyone else who wants to invest, let us know.
Let's get a fan-led team.
Just a team of insiders.
We're the fastest-growing fan-first podcast out there.
We're the #1 American elf podcast.
Ooh, we can say that.
We can say that. Yep.
Even though the other podcast is also ran by Americans, they're not currently in America.
No, made in America.
Yeah, American made.
However, I call him the Finnish killer because I don't know how to say his last name. Our running back, Pajarine. He's pretty solid. His yards per carry are pretty low, 17 of 87, but he had a receiving touchdown. He had 4 touchdowns or something last week, 3 last week, and he's really good at picking up the blitz. That's all I care about.
The person from Vienna on offense that I was super impressed with was Booyah. That's how you say his name, Booyah, right? The Italian man.
The Italian baby.
Hey, man, he can get separation.
He is good. He had 3 last week and 1 this week.
Yeah, he can get some separation. I was looking at some of his routes, and they were crispy.
I'm glad he's on our team. But do you know who I wish we would use more? Which I think it's kind of Holmes's like backup target, Beer Bomber, the big 6'7" tight end that almost made it to the NFL. because he played really, really well last year with Helbig, and he just hasn't gotten it going this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was I shouldn't say late season addition because it was still preseason when he got added, but I would presume that most everyone else for Vienna was already in their version of training camp and running drills and stuff, and he came in late. So, I'd give it another week or two, and Vienna looks really good.
Once their offense starts clicking, and if our defense can stay this way, oof.
Yeah,
that's gonna be exciting.
Y'all are gonna cause problems for sure.
The only thing I'm scared about is our kicker, especially next week, which I'll get into more. But he's not very good. Sorry, kicker.
Hey, I mean,
how many in a row is this for Vienna now against Tyrol?
5. We've won all 5 since joining the Elf. I don't know about the AFL one.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go the Tyrol route specifically just for the Dannye rivalry.
You hear that? They're scared of me. Scared.
No, you're just a bigger asshole than Tanner is.
Don't act like you wouldn't do the same thing.
Oh, I 1,000% would.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was thinking.
You didn't live in the dorm with us.
Oh yeah.
Him being a Bengals fan and the Steelers being better the entire time we were in college, he didn't get the end of it. But at least I blew it in the playoffs every year. So
that's true.
That was awesome to watch. Fuck off.
See, I just feel bad talking shit to Tanner because it just kind of rolls off of him. Like even whenever Mavs beat the Clippers, like it was very lackluster getting to throw it in his face. He was just like, "Oh, okay."
Well, we're just built with disappointment in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
I've rooted for the Clippers for close to 10 years now, man, or over 10 years now. I know what pain feels like. Nothing's new.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about pain. The Milano Seamen.
Hey, Milano led for a little bit.
Did they lead or did they hold the tie? Did they?
No, they scored first.
Yeah, they scored first.
Wow.
Yeah, yep.
They have 7 points on the year.
But hey, they had a lead at some point this year.
However,
true.
Bronkhurst did not get cut. But the guy who shut them out did.
Oh, they might just not have a better option, my guy. I don't know.
No,
nobody
clue.
wants to go play there.
Oh, I tweeted so the Ravens are only, or the Raiders are only keeping their AFL quarterback for 1 week, and I was like, how about we bring Dustin Crum in from the CFL, baby?
Dude, yeah, there we go.
Dustin Crum played at Kent State.
Hey, listen.
He was also the backup to Patrick Mahomes.
Good for him, but I gotta advocate
right?
for my boy Cason Martin, specifically just because he's a former UNT Green, baby.
That's true. We have all our colleges covered here.
Woo!
But Chad Jeffries looked much better this week than last week. 4 touchdowns, had a pick, not a lot of yards, but that's okay. Their running back almost had 100 on 16 carries.
Yeah, Rodney, he played well.
Yeah, but this game, not even close. The Ravens, good bounce back game. Luckily, they didn't have to play a good team week 2 after they did not play well against the Surge.
Yeah, I mean, this was a completely lopsided affair after the first score. I mean, Ravens had 21 first downs. The Seamen had 8. That in and of itself should kind of tell you how the game went. I'm trying to see. I'm surprised that there wasn't any. Or are they sure there wasn't any sacks?
They don't. The sack stats don't really show.
Okay, I was about to say I definitely saw someone sack Bronkhurst a couple of times.
But hey, Jeffrey shared the love.
He did.
How many receivers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers.
Yep.
Caught the ball, and a drum. He had two completions. But yeah, Zach Bronkhurst, 10 of 24, 90 yards, brutal.
Yeah, it's too early still to say, but I'm going to venture to say that Milano is the worst team in the.
I don't think it's too early to say. They're the only team that hasn't scored double-digit points.
They're bad.
Yeah, I don't. Milano might not win a game this year.
I would not be surprised if they go undefeated.
The only other team that
losing column.
The only other team I think that could go winless would be Hungary's team, Fehérvár. But I think Fehérvár is significantly better than Milano is. So
Mm-hmm. Fehérvár, I feel like could steal a game from one of the bottom teams.
I think so too.
I don't know their
I don't
exact
see
schedule.
Milano doing that.
No, I don't think. Yeah, Helvetic would run over them. Barcelona would run over them.
Yeah,
But,
we would. Sorry.
Yeah, like Fehérvár and Prague are probably the other two bottom teams, but they're still.
Yeah, I forgot
They're
about
ahead.
Prague. But I mean, at least Prague scored 17 against
Yeah,
Berlin.
yeah. Prague has played two good teams and not
And has
held
at
their
least
own.
put up
But
some
yeah,
points.
they've put up points.
Do we want to
And
transition into Prague?
Yeah,
Because
why
Now
not?
that
I
we're
got a
talking
couple.
about it.
Yeah, I got a couple opinions on that. I think this is one of the games I watched. a little bit
There's
most.
something new on the stat thing. There's a football field.
Oh shit! What the?
That's new.
I think that's only
Whoa.
on theirs. Yeah,
It is. Last play,
Weird.
end of game.
cool.
They're getting there. Slow and steady with the stats, baby. All right,
Nice.
Tanner, take it over.
Yeah, so Prague's defense, it sounds crazy to say because Berlin has 48 points in this game. But Prague's defense actually isn't that bad. They were creating turnovers. I felt like they were able to get some stops throughout the game.
Mm-hmm. They had a couple of sacks.
Yeah, I think the Prague defense is actually pretty good. They can't do anything though because their offense is just horrific. Like there's nothing they can do to make up for that. I think some of Prague's point was off of like a defensive touchdown too, right? Or a kickoff return.
Probably a kickoff return. But you say their offense is horrific. At least they're keeping their defense off the field. They won the time of possession by over 10 minutes.
Yeah. The thing that I saw specifically from Prague that I think makes their team kind of inoperable almost is their secondary is horrendous. Because they were getting their front seven's pretty decent.
Yeah,
you know, again, they were able to get a couple of sacks. You know, their linebackers were hitting folks, but their DBs are bad.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say their box is fabulous, but their defensive backs are not good, and the stat lines for the receivers show it. 8 for 138 and a touchdown, 4 for 75, 8 for 74 and 2 touchdowns, and then a bunch of 1 catches.
Yeah. And even with the interceptions, I mean, I only saw one of the 2 interceptions.
One was tipped.
Yeah, I was just about to say one of them was a Dak Prescott interception, if you will. So I don't count that all that much, but as far as just one-on-one coverage, yeah, their DBs were getting torched.
No, yeah, game. I think if Prague makes some changes in the next year, I think this is kind of a learning year with new ownership.
Yeah, I think that they can be good.
Yeah,
or at least middle of the pack for sure.
Get some good A imports in there.
Yeah, they need to get either a corner or a safety A import ASAP.
I love the teams that do the double safety A import. It's beautiful. Getting some like American ball hawks back there.
That's smart.
Yeah. But Sullivan had a good game. You can't knock that. He had the 2 picks, but still 3 touchdowns, 320 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Threw the ball 43 times, which is absurd.
There's a lot. I mean, their leading rusher had 8 attempts. That's unreal.
I mean, I guess if you don't need to run it.
Doing well, too. I'm surprised that they didn't want to run it more. But
they probably didn't need to. Probably 8 of those attempts were in the fourth quarter.
Probably.
But probably all of their rushing attempts were in the fourth quarter or play 1.
Well, I've been noticing that teams don't really run out the clock. From most of the games I watched, it seems like they keep trying to push it forward. I mean, you'll see a couple of rushes here and there, but they're still like playing like they're not in a lead and they're just going to win the game anyways. I especially saw that in the Cologne game, I think it was.
I was going to say the Panthers game. Like even though they had the lead in the first, I mean, it's early. I guess you can keep attacking, but they didn't try to take any time off the clock.
No.
Like they were fine going 3 and out right away and giving the ball back to the Surge.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Prague sneaky good, maybe. They could win a game.
I wouldn't say
2.
sneaky good. They have
Sneaky
foundational
average.
pieces. They have foundational pieces.
They have a firm foundation.
Hey, I mean, to be fair to Prague, I mean, I think it was about the exact same time as it was in the Super Bowl that Berlin was up 28-3. Same with the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl. So I think if Prague played the Falcons, they probably could have won that game.
I have a feeling that if any of these teams played an NFL team, even if it were the New York Jets without Aaron Rodgers,
I don't think Zach Wilson could beat the Prague Lions.
Well, Zach Wilson.
No, Zach Wilson probably could.
He's not with the Jets anymore, right?
No, but if we're talking about last year's teams,
I'm just saying the Jacksonville Jaguars could stick it to them.
I just wanted to make a 28-3 joke. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to shit on the Falcons.
That's true.
Well, who I like to shit on is Paris. Even though they did really well, it's still fuck the French.
That's true. But I forgot to bring up the Vikings had over 10,000 in their stadium. And then the second game with over 10,000, Hamburg, and a beautiful production of a game.
Mm-hmm.
They had the nice little end zone cameras. They had a couple field goal cameras, different camera angles.
Their field just looked good.
That is a football production.
Yeah, it felt the closest to like an NFL production that I've seen from a team.
The Fire game did as well.
Yes,
in Frankfurt. But Zach Edwards,
former
of a white
guy, former Barcelona great,
quarterback with a tinted visor. He's going to be good.
He chose violence. I mean,
he did.
19 of 28, 269, 4 tuds, no picks. Also ran for 67 yards and 2 tuds. So, I mean, 6 total touchdowns. That's disgusting. My God.
How he didn't win MVP of the week is beyond me. However, go ahead, Jordan.
I was going to say, yeah. And then Mitchell with 9 receptions, 152 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is... I thought I was getting mad watching Patterson destroy us. Oh, I would have been ripping my hair out if I would have seen Mitchell go for 4 tuds, bro.
Technically 6.
Yeah, technically 6.
Mitchell.
Mitchell. No, I thought you said Edwards.
6.
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Edwards. Yeah, Mitchell. Oh my goodness. And he was 1 touchdown. He had to work for. He broke like 4 tackles, or I think it was 2, and then he just got absolutely destroyed into the end zone.
Yeah.
It is just really funny watching a European team where you just have 2 American dudes just going insane.
Yeah.
And like no one else on Paris did a whole lot.
The wide receiver of LaRose is supposed to be their number 1, I believe. That's what they were saying, is Mitchell's their number 2.
Yeah, I don't think so anymore.
Their Paris's running back, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Aguiman.
Aguiman? I don't have a French.
I'm gonna start calling him Aquaman. Bro, I feel like the Charles Barkley of this show. If I can't pronounce shit, I'm just gonna give him a nickname. But yeah, he ran pretty well. I mean, 11 carries for 64 yards. He was solid. I mean, Genmark was solid as well. 4 attempts for 40 yards, 10 yards a run. So, I mean, there were contributions from other places, but yeah, Zach Edwards and Mitchell were just, I mean, on the same page every play. It was great.
Yeah.
And the Paris defense, we talked about with the surge on how they're just all over the field, spreading the love. Same exact thing.
Oh, yeah.
2 people led the way with 6 tackles. There was a 5er, 4, 3, 2, and then a bunch of people with 1.
Yeah, and multiple people had tackles for loss,
Sack stats aren't there, but I assume they had some sacks.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch this game in its entirety. I watched the recap like y'all, but the recap just made Paris look absolutely dominant from start to finish.
It is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the Hamburg home jerseys though look pretty clean.
Not the camo. That was Frankfurt, but Hamburg. Yeah, they do have some clean jerseys. Paris's jerseys weren't bad either. The little Paris flag on the side.
No, yeah, I think they've done
Or
a
French
really good.
flag. Sorry.
I think they did a really good job with the jerseys this year. It's funny. I think actually, whenever we were talking about the jerseys, I was shitting on Hamburgs, but I guess seeing them live, they do look better live.
It's a lot different on the field. And
Yeah.
the Broncos jerseys, I saw a video of like the rookies wearing it, and they actually kind of look nice.
Yeah, people were
New
going
Broncos ones.
a little too crazy with the Broncos jerseys. I just was like, they're kind of meh. But yeah, the people who were
On
like,
field, they look good.
yeah, people who were like, these are absolute shit. I'm like, no.
There could
The
be a
only
lot
issue
worse.
was the shitty like commercial thing they did for them. Did you guys
Yes.
watch that? Like the reveal trailer?
Yeah.
It looked like a beer or a truck commercial. It was weird.
Well, they are in Denver, and beer is a very big thing here. So
Beer capital of the United
Beer's
States.
the big thing everywhere in America.
Oh,
man.
yeah, we have Coors.
Whoa, we have
Besides
the
Utah.
best
Budweiser.
breweries in the country around here. Okay.
I don't know if I agree
About
with
that.
but we'll go forward.
I've been to a lot of states and I've drank a lot of beer in a lot of states.
I have as well.
The funny thing is, we're talking about beer when we're talking about a league that
I know,
started
yeah,
in
that has
Germany.
like 5 German teams. Yeah, no, I
More
know.
than 5.
Yeah, I bet if we both go to Germany, I think we're gonna think differently about Colorado beer.
Oh,
yeah.
well, I mean, I had beer whenever I was in Belgium, and yeah, no, it's different in Europe for sure.
Let us know what your favorite beer is if you're listening to this. Anyone
Yeah,
outside
and
of
if
the
you're
United
German and you're
States.
listening to this, let us know what pub we need to go to whenever we go to the championship game. I'm just going to speak that into existence.
No, yeah, we're going to the championship game.
We just need funding.
Yeah.
It's like you guys might be going.
No, I'm not paying I don't have money right now for it.
Yeah,
but
I don't have money for that either.
if
But
anyone wants to help us.
I was like, what the fuck, guys?
I mean, is there anything else to say other than
Paris looked great.
Paris
for
looked
their
great,
week 1.
and there's still hope for Hamburg.
People were saying they look a lot different than last year. They lost a lot of people and etc. And it's kind of sad. They were supposedly really good before we started watching, and now they just don't look good at all. Like, what did they do week 1 again?
They won week 1. I forget who they played.
They beat the Lions by 10.
Yeah,
So
okay, in retrospect, okay.
yeah.
Mm.
So I'll be curious to see if they can turn it around. But I would compare them to the Cologne Centurions, who beat the Ferrovar and Throners 35-10. And this was a controversial one for us. I think we were split on who was going to win.
Were we? Did any of us say?
I got all of my predictions wrong. I'm pretty sure. I think I got every last one of my predictions wrong.
Well, good thing we're starting our pick'ems this week.
Except for I got Munich right, but that was because it was obvious and easy.
But yeah, I will add our total win percentage at the bottom. So I guess your win percentage will be really bad.
Yeah, it's not going to be
But
good. I can say that.
I'd have to watch the episode again. There's no way I picked Ferrovar.
I think Tanner, you picked Cologne. I think Jordan picked Ferrovar.
I did it just to be fun. I figured I'd get that one wrong, but
yeah. But I picked him just because I picked Cologne because their quarterback's name is Weed, and he popped off 22 of 29. Great passing or completion percentage, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have a pick, but they still won easily.
Pretty sure wasn't his pick tipped as well.
Probably, but Ferrovar didn't even get on the board till the 4th quarter.
He also ran for 2 touchdowns too. I didn't know if you said that or not.
Oh, I did not. I did not.
Yeah,
see
Oh,
that
did
yet.
you guys?
He had 4.
Did
He
you
had 4 total?
Did you guys see how Ferrovar got their 10 points?
No. Well, yes, but I don't remember.
Okay, so they blocked an extra point, returned it for 2 points, and then they scored a touchdown. I got a 2-point conversion to get to 10.
Yep.
Good for them.
So
all in the 4th quarter when it didn't matter.
All in the 4th quarter.
But yeah, Cologne just looked like a solid team.
Yeah.
Emlyn, 17 and 92 and a touchdown. Weed 3 for 34 and 2 touchdowns.
You're not gonna say Fuck's name?
Fuchs.
I'm pretty sure that's Fucks.
7 of 54. And then 6 different receivers for Cologne and 7 different receivers for Ferrovar. But
Yeah, but I mean, one of them had two catches for a yard.
Oh.
I think Cologne wins for most different people.
No,
getting
shot.
tackles.
Wait, is that a real? 2 receptions for a
For a
yard.
yard. Yeah. I'm not. They gave the ball to the same amount of receivers because I'm not counting that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that when I said that. Yeah, I'm not counting that either.
That's so funny.
But yeah, no, Cologne's defense though was all over it. I mean, granted, the Enthroner's offense hasn't been good, so it's not hard for your defense to be all over them. But is it Lytle or is it Liddell? It's probably Liddell, or maybe it's Little. Actually, it's probably
Little.
Yeah, Little with 8 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. Kindman had 5 tackles and a tackle for loss. I mean, they had multiple guys who had tackles for loss.
They had 10 players that had over 4 or more tackles.
They had 6 guys who had tackles for losses as well. So I mean, yeah, they were just on it. So yeah, good for them. Good for them. And,
hopefully they get better. Hopefully they can. They're not going to compete for a playoff spot. Obviously, we all know probably the 6 playoff teams. But hopefully they can kind of fight towards the top of the middle, best of the rest.
Yeah,
because I like Cologne. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, well, Ed, dude. Speaking of Cologne, or no, sorry, you said Cologne. I was thinking Frankfurt Galaxy. My bad. Never mind. Bad transition.
Yes,
my bad.
That's okay. Now we can. Frankfurt Galaxy, almost 14,000 people in attendance. 13-5. Another beautiful production of football.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the Galaxy's jerseys. Did you guys like the camo?
It was fine.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised the NFL hasn't done a game with camo jerseys. You know,
well, they released the support the troops things, but you can buy them. They don't wear them. You can just buy them.
Yeah, no, because I have a hoodie for the
Yeah.
Steelers. That's one of those.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised that we're such
sure-
like a patriotic country. It feels weird that we haven't had especially since there's games on Veterans Day weekend. You would think that a team would do it at some point. So it's it kind of threw me off when I saw Frankfurt wearing camo jerseys. I'm like, I can't believe this is an American thing.
Well, and it was their first game of the year. They're like, screw our normal jerseys, camo week 1 for us.
They looked fine. I mean, they looked like camo jerseys. They're exactly what I thought they would look like.
About it.
Yeah.
But this was a pretty good game until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it was neck and neck, and then the Rhine Fire just kind of ran away with it.
Galaxy
Frankfurt
ran
just
out of
didn't have
gas.
Yeah, I was going to say Frankfurt just didn't have enough juice,
Yeah.
I mean, Tunga was
Oh,
destroying them. I mean, what is that? 24
173
rush attempts for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that is a man's game right there. That's how a white man runs the football. I'm sorry, I had to give it I had to give it the reference.
But over 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, and that kind of the amount of attempts that he had to I mean, tough dude.
No, yeah.
I am curious if they try to keep that up for the rest of the season, though, because that kind of shit does wear down on running backs.
He was almost a 2K rusher last year or the year before.
Okay, so he just
so they
built
could.
different. Good for
How
him.
many weeks do they play?
14 weeks, 12 games, 2 bye weeks.
Almost 2,000 yards in 12 games. Dude, that's an OJ Simpson stat line. RIP.
But we tweeted at Glenn Tunga. He responded. He praised his offensive line for his 173 yards. So praising the boys in the trenches.
Good man.
Yes. Jadrian Clark, solid game. Nothing spectacular. Did what he needed to do to win.
But I mean, he got a bunch of people involved.
No, yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 receivers. Granted, again, another one that was 1 reception for 1 yard. So 7. He threw the ball to 7 people. But no, overall, good performance from him. Made the right read when he needed to, and
Tunga did have 200 total yards. 201 total yards.
Go
good
Tunga.
For Tunga. But yeah, the Fire did what they needed to win. That's what they've been doing They won the championship last year, and they kept it going. Galaxy did look good week 1. They're supposed to be one of the top teams, so I didn't know what to expect because I've never seen them play. We've never seen them play. But their wide receiver and a guy who threw a touchdown pass on Sunday, Markel Castle, he was a Triple Crown winner last year.
Nice.
Yeah. So, what did he have this week, though?
He had
8 for 120. Yeah. And then 38 yards passing and a touchdown.
No, I think Frankfurt's good. I think, Ryan's just going to be really hard to beat this year. I mean, like I said, when we did the game predictions last week, this is where I was saying, oh, well, Ryan might go like 11-1, and this is their one loss. I mean, yeah, it's going to be hard for Ryan to lose. But, they got this single game elimination just like football, so you never know what will happen in the playoffs.
Yeah. And it's hard to bet against the Fire right now. They just look good. And even an average game for everyone else except for Tunga, they win by 11.
Yeah.
It's like, but, yeah, they got a lot of people in the defense as well. Why they threw a guy in with 0 tackles, I don't know.
I just thought about that, yeah. Schleichinger.
Yeah. Sorry, Schleichinger.
Dude, shout out Fishbach, 3 attempts for 1 yard.
Hey, my brother Fish.
Oh my goodness, guys.
Well, I mean, any other comments about the Ryan and Frankfurt game before we kick it to break?
The Fire don't care about any rusher except for Tunga. Everyone else had 1 attempt.
Bro, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No. Yeah. He's like, I'm not sitting.
Like, could you imagine? I mean, they've got the black Christian McCaffrey back there, basically. Would you? I'm not gonna let my running back 2 take away his touches.
No, yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, if you're averaging 7 yards a carry, you're in the whole game.
Yeah, you're in the whole game unless you're hurt. So
yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
What was that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. That takes us to the end of segment 1. We're going to kick it to a quick commercial break from our sponsor, Western States Fire Protection. And then we will be back to give some predictions as well as to just kind of update y'all on some league-wide news. So stay tuned.
You're the proud owner of a business, and you've got it all. The hustle, the bustle, and the occasional office kitchen mishap that turns into an alarm-triggering emergency.
Oh!
But fear not. Western States Fire Protection is here to turn your workplace into a disaster-free zone. Our in-house team handles everything from fire sprinklers to alarms, monitoring, inspections, extinguishers, and more. Visit WSFP.com to request a quote.
Are you looking for a podcast to advertise your business? Well, you're in luck. Here at the Fork Down Fiasco, we're looking for show sponsors. Whether you want to be a platinum sponsor and be mentioned at the beginning and end of every episode, or you just want a simple 30 or 60-second ad, we got you covered. If you're interested in having a spot on our show, you can reach us at forkdownfiasco@gmail.com. That's forkdownfiasco@gmail.com. We are excited to hear from you and even more excited to have you on the show. Join the Fiasco family now.
And welcome back to the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football. Yes, we are talking now about week 3, who we think is going to win. And Daniel, since you are our unofficial ELF insider, self-proclaimed,
yep,
I'm going to kick it to you for that first game. Madrid Bravos, Ryan Fire, who you got and why?
Are we running through all the games first, just game by game?
Just game by game. Yeah.
All right. We just talked about Ryan Fire a second ago. We have seen one game with the Bravos. If they can keep it close, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I'm going with Ryan on this one too. I've learned my lesson from last week not to try and be too spicy about these games. So, yeah, Tanner, I apologize.
No, it's okay. I'm picking Ryan too. I mean, what I'm hoping for is to keep it close. It's not even like I'm hoping for a win. It's just don't get embarrassed. Keep it within 2 scores, and if you do that, then you're probably fighting for a playoff spot.
This will be a very good test for Madrid and for the rest of the ELF to see how this expansion team is actually going to compete. Like if they get blown out by 25, they're going to be just middle of the pack. We already know they're not bottom 4, bottom 5. But if they can fight with the Fire for 3 quarters, they could pull a Galaxy and kind of fall off in the 4th. But if they could fight for over half the game in that Western Conference, that's just brutal. Maybe they'll sneak in a playoff spot. Do I think they will? Probably not, because there's a lot of good teams in that Western Conference. But
I'm just thankful we're not in that Western Conference,
that
which doesn't make sense because geographically speaking, we are like the second or third most Western team.
Yeah, the conferences. I'm looking at it right now. None of them make sense.
They get rearranged a lot.
Like if you don't want to do it by geographical location, that's fine. But then how there's like NFC and AFC. Like if you want to split it up that way,
Well, yeah. But yeah, I think once they finalize their 24 teams that they're hoping to get to, then they'll
have an easier time.
Yeah.
Especially since like with rivalry week, it's kind of weird where it's like, okay, Madrid and Barcelona are rivals, but they're in different divisions.
Yeah.
Raiders and Vienna
are also in different divisions. Yeah.
But in the same country.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, let's talk about the Western Conference real quick. The Frankfurt Galaxy, who is supposed to be a championship contender, are currently in last place. They've only played 1 game, though.
Yeah,
but still. It won't be for long. Yeah.
No, but it's the Fire, the Bravos, the Musketeers, the Centurions, who are my little dark horse team, not for a playoff spot, but for the best of the rest. Sea Devils and Galaxy. So that's
I think... Yeah, I mean, I look at it. I think Madrid's a pretty good team. I think Madrid's the 4th best team in that conference. I think they're
third. Oh, the Galaxy.
Well, Rhine,
Galaxy in Paris,
then Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Or maybe if we look at my standings, I might have Frankfurt above. I do. Yes, I have Frankfurt above for now, just because they have more history of being better. But we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, that conference is brutal. It's like the AFC North.
Glad it's not me.
No, seriously. I'm glad the Vikings are in the easy conference with the Thunder, Panthers, Lions, and Throners.
Panthers and Thunder are good, though.
No, yeah, they are good. So I'm not saying they aren't, but
that's a lot different than having to play Rhine, Paris, Frankfurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the Central might be an easier conference this year, though. To be honest, with the Raiders being
where
a little
Barcelona is, right? The Central.
Yeah. You have, depending on what the Raiders do at quarterback, you only have the Ravens and the Surge, unless the Mercenaries decide to turn it on with Aiken.
Well, speaking of Raiders to roll
in the Central Conference,
they will be coming to Barcelona, coming out to my hood. You heard?
First home game for you guys.
Yeah, first home game for us. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very discouraged after last week. I know that they're going to have a brand new quarterback again. Shout out my boy Casey Martin, UNT legend, even though he only played like 3 snaps for us. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Raiders to roll on this one. I'm hoping that it's at least close, especially since it's not going to be who Tyrol's probably going to have their starting quarterback for the rest of the season. So maybe we can sneak this one in, but I'm going to go with Raiders to roll on this one.
Tanner?
Yeah, I'm going to follow. I think Tyrol's the better team than Barcelona. It's going to be... I don't think Tyrol's one of the top dogs, so I think there is a chance that Barcelona can make it competitive, but Barcelona wasn't competitive against Madrid, so I think it's going to be a hard ask for them to be competitive against Tyrol.
No, I'm just hoping that they show some pride, after getting their ass whooped.
I think with the first home game, they should have a good fan backing. Hopefully. But no, I'm going Tyrol as well. They just have better. Yeah.
I was like, so you're going with Barcelona?
No. I'm going Tyrol. Yes, they have a quarterback situation, but their defense is still good. They still have a solid team. And the Barcelona offensive line, bad. Defensive backs, bad. Everything bad.
Well, I was gonna say defensive line bad because you didn't get to that one, but yeah,
just bad.
Everything is bad. The Barcelona bad. But the game after that though is actually I'm kind of excited for that Helvetic Mercenaries Milano Seaman game. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, what's going to happen then? Take us through it.
I think Mercenaries are going to end up winning it. I think that probably the first half is going to be close. And then I think that Helvetic will probably run away with it. Second half, I think Carlton Akins Jr. is going to put up some big stats.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be cool if we could get Carlton Akins Jr. On the pod at some point. You know, we'll figure it out, maybe.
Before you answer, let's hop back real quick. How much do you think, or how big of a victory are the Fire and the Raiders going to have? What's the point differential? How much
do you want me to spread or you want to point differential?
How many points do you think they're going to win by?
I think Ryan will win by, let's go 13.
13. What about Raiders?
Respectable.
Raiders, I'll go with, let's do 10.
Jordan?
Thanks. Yeah, I'll go Ryan Fire over Madrid Bravos. I'm sorry, Tanner. I'm giving them a full 17 on that one. Raiders, I think they beat us by 10.
Yeah, I'm going 17 and 14.
Okay.
Yeah. But so Tanner, now your turn with the Mercenaries and Seaman.
Yeah, so I'm going to differ from Jordan. I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Mercenaries are going to blow out the Seaman.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's going to be
blowing out the Seaman.
Oh,
good job, Jordan. That one was actually good. The rest haven't, but
I didn't want to say anything, but
he made that one way too easy.
Yeah, that was just a little softball. Oh, but all right, what do you think they're going to win by? It's a blowout.
21.
21, yeah. I could see him winning by like, it's a wide spread, but like 17 to 24, like in your 21 range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mercenaries, I think, are just going to walk away with this.
I think as well that they're going to. I'm going to go with 21 as well on that one. But I think that the first half's going to be close. You know, I think first half might be like they're up 14-10 going into half, and then we may not see the Seamen score again for the rest of the game.
They did fire.
Oh, you cut out.
They fired their offensive coordinator, right? That was what you were going to say.
Fired their offensive coordinator.
As they should. 7 points in 2 games, pretty bad.
Not good.
But let's talk about probably what will be one of the games of the week.
Ooh.
There's another one that could be a game of the week.
Yeah, this upcoming week's got better matchups than rival. God, I'm so bad at saying that. Rivalry week.
They looked enticing last week. They just ended up not being enticing.
Yeah.
Which it could happen every week. Who knows?
Yeah.
But Frankfurt Galaxy in Paris.
That'll be a tough game.
Paris coming off a huge dub. Galaxy coming off of a crushing defeat.
Yeah, it's going to be in Paris, though. I don't know.
We can have Tanner go first if you want to think about it.
Yeah, Tanner, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I think Frankfurt's going to win.
Really?
Frankfurt, at least from what we've heard from all the people we've been talking to, is that Frankfurt's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And from what we heard when we did our interview with Alex, Ryan's a step above everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Frankfurt is probably just a more consistent, better team than Paris is, just based on everything we've heard so far. And I think just with us only 3 weeks in, I'm going to kind of trust the people that have
that know the league,
let us know where we are, So I'm just going to kind of go with what they've been saying over the off season. And again, I think it's early enough that I can still stick with that without seeing how all the games have been playing out so far.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will regret it, but I think that Frankfurt will win this one because I just can't imagine them being 0-2 when there was so much hype about them throughout the entire off season. That seems like a tough pill to swallow. And if I got to put a line on it, I'm going to say this one will be close. I'm just going to do like a 7-point line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jordan, are you gonna take back everything you said last week and go
I mean,
Paris?
no, it's still fuck the French, always and forever. That will not change. I'm sorry. Between Rudy Gobert and avant-garde film, it's not a vibe.
French music kind of bangs though.
What was that?
So that French music kind of bangs though. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I like I like Jamaican music. I like shit down in the Caribbean. But I never liked no French music though.
I never said reggae music was worse. I just said that French music was pretty good.
I just didn't want to give them their credit. Man, I think Frankfurt's gonna start off the season 0-2.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
The performance that I saw between Edwards and who's their wide receiver that was so good? Mitchell. Yeah, and I think it's going to be close. I'm going to give it like a 3-point game.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close game. And I saw people talking that they're going to have to Frankfurt is going to have to move one of their import defensive backs into the slot to cover Mitchell, because their other defensive backs are not slot receivers. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that could cause problems.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to go Frankfurt as well, and it'll probably be a 4-point game. I feel like they're just going to sneak by. But yeah, I don't see Frankfurt falling 0-2 after what everyone says. It's hard, but Paris looks really good.
I could see the story arc of Frankfurt starting off 0-2.
And then
they get super
back.
pissy. They surge back, and then they just start whooping ass, and then get to the playoffs and do some damage. Like whenever I say that they're going to start off 0-2, that's like I really just think that Paris is going to come out hype.
Oh, I just looked at next week. Frankfurt does not have it easy. They play the Panthers next week.
I think they'll beat Wrocław.
Oh, they should, but it's still not fun.
That's not a very friendly opening 3 games.
No,
for sure.
not at all. But
Berlin and Fervar.
Berlin by 21.
Berlin by 28.
Berlin by 24.
Fervar by 7.
Yeah.
Oh man,
they got to get that first one somewhere.
And it's not gonna.
They're gonna do it in Berlin.
Oh, Tanner, you're gonna clip that and make me look like an idiot.
Yeah, put that on the Instagram.
Yeah, that would gain some attraction.
Actually, let me just go ahead and plug us real quick. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at 4th Down Fiasco, and on Twitter or X at 4th Down_pod. We would appreciate it if you followed us. Thanks, y'all.
But yeah, Berlin should walk away with this.
Yeah. It won't be close.
Yeah, they had a tough week 1 facing. I think they played the Fire, and then they're getting their form back. They're good,
and they're playing the second worst team in the league.
Yeah. I think we all have them as the second worst. But Kyle Kitchen's off that edge, absolute brutal. Yeah. He had a strip sack for a touchdown, or someone had a strip sack, and then he picked it up in the end zone last week. Beautiful.
Oh my God, I forgot his name again. Is it Austin Jackson? The Berlin guy? Aaron Jackson? Aaron Jackson. There we go. Yeah, I mean, we forgot his name last week, but now we'll remember it. He was insane this game. 2 touchdowns. He's
good.
Really good. Yeah.
He's just good.
And you know what? He's going for 2 more next week.
Probably. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. He could probably go for 3.
Yeah, maybe 3.
He could probably go for 203.
Okay, so
next,
Vienna at Wrocław. How are we feeling?
The second game of the week.
What do you mean?
Like big game of the week.
Oh.
I forgot to say big. Second big game of the week behind Galaxy and Paris.
I thought we just said Berlin and Vedavada was going to be awesome.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, real close one, 28-point plus or minus. We're in Wrocław. Tanner,
you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to say the Panthers are going to win. I think with a close loss last week, they're at home again. I think this is probably Vienna's first real match this year. I mean, they had an easy game against Vedafar. They had a pretty easy game against Tyrol. I think this is going to be their first game against a contender. So I think, and Wrocław has kind of only played contenders so far. I think they're a little bit more
for it.
Well, I'm going to go the opposite route. I think they're a little bit more battle tested this year so far. So,
and they haven't had to travel. They haven't had to
travel. Yep. So I think they're going to want to get in the win column, and I think they should have won last week. Honestly, if you look at that second half meltdown by them, I mean, they should be
up
2-0
by 20.
Yep. They should be up 2-0 right now. So I think they're really going to play pretty hard. But I think if we're going to get a close game this year, I think this will be the close game. So I'm going to do 4 for the point differential.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm a tenor. I'm going to go Wrocław on this one. Great crowd, I mean, they back-to-back weeks of just killer attendance.
I think they're at 5,000 last week.
I thought they also hit the 10K threshold.
No, they were not one of the teams. They went back to their normal stadium instead of their big stadium.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's why I was confused. I was like, I thought the production looked a lot better.
Yeah, they used an actual professional stadium last week or week 1, and then went back to their lower attendance one.
Gotcha. But yeah, I'm still going to go Wrocław either way. And I think it's going to be a close one. And especially because, we don't know the status of Ben Holmes right now. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's going to be out for the game.
He's going to play.
Yeah, but, he was limping last week and he is banged up. So it's going to be hard on him. So, yeah, I'm going to say a 1 point differential.
Could be. It's my team. I have to go Vienna. But
totally fine. I understand.
I would not be surprised if, with how close you guys are saying with our kicking, that it will cost us. It could be a back and forth game, but they make 2 more extra points and we don't, and that's the game.
You're gonna lose the game. Yeah.
But the only thing that's not the only thing, a big thing, the Panthers, they're averaging 45 points a game on offense. Their defense is also averaging 45 points a game. Our defense is averaging 12. So I think we're going to slow down their offense, especially if they abandon the run again. Our defensive backs are a lot better.
Also, I mean, you have played 2 not so great offenses in a row, though. So I do think that number is a smidge inflated.
No, yeah, but the Raiders' offense isn't horrible.
No, it's not. Now, Farivar, on the other hand.
Farivar, their offense.
It's cheeks.
Not the worst in the league, but not the best.
Yeah, they're just the second worst in the league.
Just the second worst.
Yeah, they're just the second worst in the league.
Don't diss on Jack Mangle. Come on. No, yeah, they're pretty bad. But I feel like our defense is a championship defense where Panthers are not. Not even close. You can't give up 45 points a game, especially against championship contenders with the Surge and why can't I remember who they played week 1? Berlin.
Oh, sorry.
Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers. My bad.
But yeah,
no, I mean, I don't blame you for choosing your team because your team's actually
my team.
Good.
No, yeah. But yeah, this game will come down to kicking, and I think it'll kind of
y'all are going to be on the wrong side of that.
I think it'll shock the Vikings, and then they'll force their hand into signing an actual kicker.
You're telling me that in the entire continent of Europe, there is not a fucking rugby player that you can't just go, or a football, but not American football, player that you can't just grab from somewhere
to kick a 25-yard field goal or extra point.
Again, I mean, hey, I at Kiki Klepsch, I'm letting you know right now, as long as I can get my stretching in, I can guarantee a 35-yard make right now.
And you'll be classified as homegrown.
Yeah, because I didn't play high school football.
Edel was talking to me the other day about how he was making a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, no, I can't be doing all that.
But sign our Broncos correspondent, Jordan Edel. He played soccer.
No, I'm selfish. Sign me.
Yeah, they're gonna have you kick it from 40, and it's over.
No, hey, I can do a 35 right now. So if I had some practice, I could so get up to 40. Kicking from 50 is a totally different ball game, though. That is.
I mean, in the reality, they should just find a shitty soccer player that
Yeah.
and he can probably kick it 40
Dude, big
yards.
signing. Mbappe is going to the Vikings instead of Real Madrid.
Honestly, Mbappe, you could line him up at wide receiver.
Is he going to Real Madrid?
Yeah, they announced it the other day.
Dude, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start rooting for Madrid and everything now because
Well,
I don't watch European soccer.
That's
Screw it.
true.
I'll be a Real Madrid fan.
Well, so wait, why are you cheering for the Boston Celtics then? Because Luka Doncic was also from Real Madrid.
That's true. Luka Doncic played for Real Madrid.
Did he really?
Yeah, his European basketball team was Real Madrid.
Yep.
Oh.
And
I'm not rooting for. Also, I'm not rooting for the Celtics.
No, he's not rooting for no.
You're just actively rooting against me.
No. I'm just saying, if they lose, I'm gonna make fun of you.
So you're actively rooting against.
No, I'm not rooting for you. I don't want the Celtics to win. I am not. Boston is like, we don't root for Boston in sports. That is like that'll never happen.
But yeah, Luka Doncic's also first NBA game was against the Boston Celtics with Real Madrid. Fun fact.
We did look that up the other day.
Yeah. And then final game of the ELF, back onto that.
Yes, back to football.
My sleeper team, Prague Lions, versus the up-and-coming, should-have-been contenders, Munich Ravens.
Well, they're 1-1. They can still be contenders.
I know.
Yeah, it's still early.
They weren't supposed to only score 5 points against the Surge, though. But
the Surge are really good.
Their
that
defense
is true.
is really good.
Yeah. It's okay. Dogs are allowed.
I'm gonna go tell them to shut up.
Well, Hans, take your pick real quick.
Okay, I'm going to go with Munich. I feel like that's the pretty obvious choice here. I think that it'll be a little bit of a closer game, just because I think that Prague wants to have a close game. Hopefully they have some pride. I'm still gonna say it's gonna be I'm still gonna go with 10 points though. Actually, I'm gonna go with 9. I'm gonna go with 9.
Missed field goal, makes extra point.
Yeah, missed extra point somewhere.
Or 3 field goals.
Or 3 field goals.
Who knows?
Not in this league.
not unless Edel's kicking. But
yeah.
Tanner, you gonna go with the new Lions or no?
No, I'm gonna go with Munich. As much as I'm kind of a closeted Prague fan, I don't think Prague's good, so we're gonna go with Munich. I think Munich is actually good, and I would not be surprised to see Munich make a playoff spot. They just played arguably the best or second best team in the league in week 1. So
you could fight that the Surge are currently power ranked number 1 this season.
Yeah, they're 1 or 2 probably.
Yeah, they're definitely 1 or 2. They're not 3.
Yeah. Line. Let's go. I'll do 13 again for this one. I forget who else I did 13 for, but we'll go 13.
I don't think you did 13. I thought you did 14 for one. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens as well. I like you, I like the Lions, but they're not Ravens territory. No.
Yeah.
And I agree the Ravens could sneak into a playoff spot coming out of that Central Conference with Raiders, Dragons, Mercenaries, and Seamen.
Well, like we talked about earlier, it just matters who's top, and then it's just the 3 best teams after that.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at it, that what that's probably going to come down to is Berlin, Wrocław, Munich, Paris,
then every team in the West,
Frankfurt, and maybe Madrid and
Barcelona.
Tyrol.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing
So
that Ravens have.
There's like 5 spots there. There's like 5 to 6 teams, 7 teams maybe, depending on how you want to look at it. It wouldn't shock me if Munich gets one of them, right?
And this is going to help your case. Since 3 of those 5 teams are in the same conference where you have to play each other twice, they're going to beat each other up. But the Ravens have to play the Seamen twice, which should be 2 wins. The Mercenaries twice, which should be 2 wins. The Dragons twice, which will be 2
losses. You right? You right?
So luckily they're in a separate conference of the other top teams that are fighting for that wild card, which will help them.
Yep, definitely.
But yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So that's the outlook for next week.
Did
do
we
have a
only
little bit of
differ
league
on one
news.
game?
I think so.
The Galaxy Musketeers game.
And
No,
the Vienna
in
game.
Vienna.
Oh, yeah. So the 2 big games. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, there is a little bit of league news. Daniel, you saw a little spicy, some whisperings, Mr. Insider. What was
I
it?
did see some whisperings on the Reddit page. If you're not
Mm.
following the Reddit page, I know Tanner is. There's rumors that there's 5 investors in Copenhagen that really love American football. And they're talking to try to get an expansion team, hopefully for next year. But there's also they're kind of marking it as like a Denmark/Scandinavian team. So I think they're trying to hope that they can get like all Scandinavian players as homegrown instead of just Denmark.
Interesting.
Because Denmark is kind of tiny.
And then those would be
No, man. They also get Svalbard. You know.
Oh yeah, my bad. Let's just pull them out. The real Vikings out.
You don't know where Svalbard is, Jordan? It's
like,
the most northern place in the world you can live.
Yeah, it's
So
like
there's maybe
all the way up.
There's maybe like 600 people there.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's a dude who he called it the Iceman. It was an Iron Man he did in Antarctica.
Oh, that's cool.
But he trained in
Svalbard.
Yes.
Sounds about right.
You don't need a visa to move there.
Well, he was Swedish, I think, anyways.
No.
So it was right there.
Yeah, they just need people to move there, probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they don't have a visa.
Yeah, they're like, we'll take anybody.
Yep.
Seriously. But yeah, so there was little whisperings of that. I have no clue if that'll happen or not, but I wouldn't be surprised in the future because they're at 17. They want to get to 24. What other countries are you wanting to add?
It's kind of a shame if they do get a team though, and they can't be the Vikings. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking that, like,
right? Isn't that kind of
an Scandinavian team?
I think
it is kind of weird that Austria is the Vikings because they're a landlocked country.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't.
But I think there was
doesn't
a
make
dormant.
a whole lot of sense.
I think there was a dormant team out of Denmark called the Kings or something, but I could be way wrong.
I mean, yeah, there's a million other things they can go with, but
they usually try to revive or either promote or revive a franchise is what it kind of seems like.
Yeah.
Well, Tanner, to the point you just made, I mean, if you think about it, Milano, Seaman, they're closer to the mountains than they are at the sea, but they're still at the Seaman. So
is Milano not on the ocean?
Nope.
Because Milano is just Milan.
Yeah, it's just Milan. It's almost on the border of Austria.
Oh.
Yeah, it's up there in the Alps, almost.
Are there dragons?
Oh,
in
I was thinking of Monaco.
Oh, Monaco. That's a whole different country.
Yeah.
I know. I get them mixed up, man.
They got that Formula One over there.
Formula One.
Their names are too similar.
That's true.
Yeah, so there was that, and then do we want to? We touched on it briefly about the quarterback situation in Tirol.
That's just brutal.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was that you showed me, Danny, which of the ELF people it was, but they made a great point of, if I am a quarterback looking at one of these teams, I don't want to go to Tirol now, because back-to-back years you've cut a player before the season has ended. And especially with this one being 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
2 weeks in.
Really
and he posted on his story that it was a performance-based reason.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. At least let him do half the season.
I mean, think about the NFL. Think about how many games did Zach Wilson play, man?
Yeah.
Zach Wilson got more leeway than this dude.
What if Zach Wilson came to the Raiders? He just said,
he
screw
started
Denver.
for the Broncos this year. What are you talking about, man?
I would be very curious if, someone like him or, insert whichever other bad quarterback we could probably do this with.
Jake Brown.
But I would be so curious to just what happens if we were to actually, pluck Zach Wilson and then, just drop him onto.
Oh, dude, I think Desmond Ridder is one of the worst, NFL quarterbacks I ever watched. But I bet if you throw Desmond Ridder on the Raiders, he's probably lighting them up.
Well, he made it to the college football playoffs with the Bearcats. He could probably compete in the ELF.
Yeah.
And he's top 5 worst
I
quarterback
just
I've watched.
no,
Like
he's bad.
in the NFL, he was terrible.
I'm just curious, just as an observer, what that would look like. So.
It's like the college NFL thing. It's like, oh well, could the 2019 LSU Tigers beat the 2018 Browns?
No,
Or like the
they are getting
2016 Browns?
stomped.
Yeah, no, not even close.
Yeah,
Like
stomped.
6 players out of those Tiger teams are players in the NFL, like good players in the NFL.
Yeah. And the disparity in size between offensive and defensive lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a terrible look for Terrell. Like
Yeah,
if you're
I agree.
like if Desmond Ridder got the whole season in Atlanta, if Zach Wilson got like 9
Multiple.
games with the Jets over multiple seasons, like you can't be cutting your guy after 2 weeks. Like you got to give him at least a little bit more time than that.
Yeah.
But it was
Half the
Nick
season.
Alfieri. He hosts the Elf live show Mondays and Thursdays. But yeah, he was saying in general, any player, any A import is not going to want to go there, or E import.
No.
Yeah.
It's just
And
like because
especially at the quarterback position.
No, yeah.
You can probably still bring in other players and be fine, but specifically quarterback, yeah. If I'm going in, I'm going to be like, okay, so if I don't throw 6 touchdowns a game, are you going to cut me? Like,
Yeah.
what is your bar that I have to meet?
Well, and they're in a country with another great football team. Their homegrowns can be like, well, what are you guys doing? Like, are you guys not trying to win?
Yeah.
I could go to this team who has the best win percentage in all of European League of Football.
God, you were such a front runner.
Well, the thing is didn't he have a good week in week 1?
I don't know his stats exactly, but let's see.
Oh, it wasn't an amazing week. It was 16 for 32, 196, 2-1.
So less than
50%. He threw a pick. I mean, that's not like an amazing stat line. But I don't know.
You shut a team out. Like,
yeah, like he didn't cost them the game at all. And I don't think he really cost them the game against Vienna. I think Vienna was just better.
Yeah, Vienna's just a league above them.
Yeah, that defense.
I mean, 9 for 19 and 95, that's a tough stat line. Like, that is not good at all. But
nobody played particularly great for Tyrol against.
Yeah,
Vienna.
no.
Their best player was their defensive back. They're also their kick and punt returner.
And he spread the ball around. I mean, you have 2 receptions to one person, 2 to another, 3 people with 1, and another person with 2. Like, he was trying to get something going, it looks like. It's just no one stepped up. So, I don't know. Hopefully he gets a job somewhere else. That sucks to see. Or at least he can be a backup somewhere else.
I don't think it'll be in the Elf. He's an A import. All the quarterback slots are filled. Yeah. He's going to ride it out for the year. The CFL starting this week.
Well, he can just go to the UFL and we can just not talk about him, since that's what we do on this pod nowadays.
If any Elf player goes to the UFL, we're talking about him. We're Elf above UFL. But Elf
we are definitely Elf above UFL.
Yeah.
Well, you can go play in the Arena League.
Dude,
go play for Antonio Brown's defunct team.
Or he could come play. Apparently, Dannye and I have a Arena football team.
It was their first year.
The
Colorado Spartans.
Cool.
Their owner is the nose tackle. He's like this 390-pound big guy.
Behemoth.
Yeah.
Well, cool. What? Anything else y'all want to add before we end the show? Anything?
No. Good on us for keeping this one short.
Yep.
Yeah. Another 80-90-minute pod. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I've stopped fighting y'all on it.
No,
it is what it is.
This is much more I was excited for the Elf, but this is much more exciting than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, no, I'm having a great time with it.
I thought it was going to be like UFL football, where it's just like minor league NFL, but this is completely different.
This is way more fun.
Yeah.
And the hitting has been such a highlight, dude. It's been that's what's kept me in some of these games just to watch. Even some of the blowouts, even losing teams, dude, they'll hit the shit out of somebody. I've seen some cheap shots that have not gotten flags from these teams that have been getting spanked, and I'm like, good for you.
Yeah. But before we end it, I saw on the live show they did on Thursday with the ELF, someone commented on it and said about the Seaman game. They said, I think everyone knew that Milano were going to lose. I'd love to see them settle and eventually snag a W. Unfortunately, every train has a caboose. I just love that.
And there's a lot of semen in that caboose.
And on that note, thank you for listening to Fourth Down Fiasco podcast.
Again, be sure to rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Pods. That's how we grow the show. And we will see y'all next week. And we will have more content, at least Dannye and I will, covering our teams. So yeah, be sure to check out some of those little side mission shows as well. Y'all take care.
Yep.
Tell your friends.
Yes. Spread the word. Spread the love.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.